Hello everybody and welcome back to another Marvelous Math movie. This is the only place where you get to be the psychiatrist and solve all of math's problems today. We're going to be tackling 2.8 writing fractions as decimals. This is on page 92 in your book. This is the last section in the chapter. So congratulations on completing your second chapter of the book. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Page 92 in your book. All right. One word that we need to know and that you should add to your notebook is the repeating decimal. And the repeating decimal is just a decimal that repeats one or more digit after the decimal point. So for example, we have here 1.33333333. And so the 3 is repeating. Another way that you'll see this written is with 1.3 and with a line over the 3. What that means is that the 3 repeats or it goes on forever and ever. So 1.333, and it would just keep on going. So if you see that line over the top of a number, that's what that means. I'll show you two ways how to do this today, how to take fractions into decimals. The first way is to simply divide the numerator by the denominator. So whatever number is on top, you're going to divide by the number that's on the bottom. The number on top goes inside the house. If you want to think of it like that, the number on bottom goes outside the house, just like that. All right, let's do some examples. And do loose on your own. Here we have 1 divided by 8. Remember that the number on top, you're doing numerator 1 divided by denominator 8. And now we have to ask ourselves, does 8 go into 1? No, it can't. So when we have to add a 0 for the first time, which we have to here, we add our 0 and we add a decimal point. And please don't forget to move your decimal straight up and to keep your place values in line. So now we can't do 8 into 1, so we added our 0, we added our decimal point, we brought it straight up. And now we need to do 8 into 10. 8 goes into 10 one time. Make sure that 1 goes above the 0, not above the 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Then subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. We can add another 0. We can bring it down. 8 goes into 20 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. Again, making sure that we're keeping our place value in check here. 4, add yet another 0. Bring down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. And 8 times 5 is 40. When we subtract it, we have no remainder. So our answer, 1/8 as a decimal, is 0.125. And that would be your solution. All right. Here's 5/6. And again, we are supposed to change this into a decimal. So let's follow our same way. Let's take our numerator, divide it by the denominator. 6 cannot go into the 5, so we add a decimal point, and we add a 0. 6 goes into 50 how many times? 8 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Then what do we do? Subtract. We can add a 0, bring it down. 6 goes into 20 3 times. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. Add a 0, bring it down. 6 goes into 20 3 times. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. Do you notice a pattern here? If you hadn't noticed it yet, you should see it by now. If you start adding zeros, and you can see that we've had 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, and it's going to keep on going. And we have repeating decimals up here. So our answer, we don't have to keep going because we'd be here all night. Our answer is 0.83 repeating. Make sure the line just goes above the 3 because the 8 does not repeat. So our 5/6 as a decimal is 0.83 repeating. Here's one for you to try on your own. Pause this video. Remember, numerator divided by the denominator. Unpause it when you're ready to work through the answer. Alright. We're going to do numerator divided by denominator. 5 cannot go into 3, so we add our decimal, bring it straight up, add a 0. 5 goes into 30 how many times? 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract that and we get 0. So that one's nice and easy. Your answer is 0.6. So 3/5 as a decimal is 0.6. Here's another one for you to try. 1/9 as a decimal. Pause the video. Unpause it when you're ready for the answer. Alright. Let's see how we did. You have 1 on the inside divided by 9. 9 can't go into 1, so we added what? Our decimal and our 0. 9 goes into 10 one time. 9 times 1 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. Add the 0. Bring it down. 9 goes into 10 one time. Alright, I'm sensing a pattern here, aren't you? Okay. This is going to keep on going forever. And so we can stop. Our answer is going to be 0.1 repeating. Okay, so that's your answer for this one. Give you another one to practice here, a little bit different. Pause the video here. Unpause it when you're ready for the answer. Alright, this one the same way. You're going to put 17 on the inside, 8 on the outside. But here, 8 can go into 17 2 times. So we're going to divide just like we know how to. Then 17 minus 16 is 1. Now 8 cannot go into 1. So here's where we add the decimal. We add a 0. We bring it down. 8 goes into 10 one time. 8 times 1 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Add a 0. Bring it down. Alright. 8 goes into 20 now. 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay. And 16, we have to minus that. That gives us 4. Add a 0, bring it down. And 8 goes into 45 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Nothing left over. So 17 over 8 is 2.125. The only difference here is that you have a whole number before the decimal point. Otherwise, you do everything else the same. So just to recap, 8 goes into 17 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. 17 minus 16 is 1. add your decimal point, bring down your 0, and then you do everything that we just practiced doing. Okay, now method number 2 is only going to work if you can recognize the denominator and see if you can get it to either 10, 100, or 1,000. If you can't do that, then this way isn't going to be as useful to you. So let's look at this one. Here we have 3 over 20. And we could do our normal way. We could do 3 divided by 20 if we wanted to. Or we could try it this way. And in this way, we want to get the denominator to either be 10, 100, or 1,000. I look at 20 and I see I can get that to be 100 rather easily. All I have to do is multiply by 5. So 20 times 5 gives me 100. And whatever you do on the denominator, you have to do with the numerator. So instead of doing 20 times 5 to get 100, I'm going to do 3 times 5 now. And 3 times 5 gives me 15. Now that I have this, think back a couple of lessons when we did this. And when you have 15 over 100, we can write our decimal and then just write the 15 after that. And this would be our answer. So this can be easier if, in fact, you can get your denominator to 100. Here's another one. We can get it to 10, 100, or 1,000, then we're good. Well, I can easily get 5 to 10. I'm just going to multiply by 2. 5 times 2 gives me 10. Multiply the numerator by 2 gives me 8. And then our last step is once we have our denominator, 10, 100, or 1,000, is to write the numerator behind the decimal. So here I have 8/10, and that's my answer. Here's one for you to try on your own. I'd like you to pause the video here and see if you like way number 2. Alright, let's see how you guys did. First thing that you should have done is you should have multiplied by 5. And the reason why you multiply by 5 is do 20 times 5 gives you 100. And 11 times 5 gives you 55. And now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to write what's on top, your numerator, behind the decimal point. So we're going to put our decimal point, and we're going to write 55. So, there we go. There you have it. You're done. Well, guys, that's all we have for this section, your last section again. Tests coming up. Hope you understood it. Hope it makes sense. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. With that, I'll leave you with your joke for the day. Why was the math book so sad? Because it had too many problems. Guys, I hope you have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you as we begin Chapter 3 in a little bit. Have a good one. Remember that you're special and that God loves you.